Now, you got long-eared cattle up north, Brahma.
Yeah.
My friend, I put him out in the front of a bunch of yearlings one time, all eared cattle. They're this close to stampeding, right? And I told him, I said, we need to go down about a mile, da-da-da-da. I had to clean the corral because, you know, they get stuck in the corner. He was out in front, and they're getting a little trotty, we call it, getting a little fast. The tail starts to rise. He took his scarf off and just started popping it. Not to make a noise, just in the wind. Them steers had never seen that before, and they all slowed down. He walked them to the gate. I never forgot that. Bob's a good guy. Ramal reins. Ramal's on this side. If the boss puts the Ramal on this side, you better get your rope down. Because that means you're going to rope. Get it? Ramal's over here. Everybody on the crew starts getting their ropes down. Not everybody's chatty like me. You pick your head up and watch, cowboys. If he rides to the gate and he turns sideways, you guys mind hearing all this? You got him strung out for a mile. More strung out, the cooler the herd. Boss rides up and turns sideways, and you can see him all the way down there. He just said, I'm going to count the cattle. If you push them over the top of me, or if you're chattering about cookie recipes, I'm going to kick your ass. That's what that means. So, when you get that job on the big outfit, remember I told you that. Now, I don't take it lightly that a human allows me to ride their horse, trust me.
I've never seen that. It's pretty cool.
I can watch the extension of the nose, I can watch the mouth, and I can stay centered on my horse this way. I thought that was a roller, but it is in fact a cricket, isn't it? You just can't hear it that well. Now, if you wear out a cricket, when you replace it, you know what, you call it an Allen wrench here? It's got 6 sides?
Yeah.
That's hard steel. That is the piece that goes in the mat before the cricket goes on.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard, get it? It'll last longer. And you'll be able to hear the cricket better. This is what we talked about yesterday. And what I didn't tell you is that when you do that move, as soon as you set the horse down, pop your hand open. Okay, first thing, the exhale needs to be more prominent because exhaling is a hell of a lot nicer than pulling. That's, and I'm just sharing, I'm critiquing this ride. And the horse will catch on to it just like that. Feel it? The horse will slide stop at a walk. Now, Deb, correct me, but doesn't he typically point with his right shoulder? Yeah, because you sit skewed in the saddle. All right, so now your seat bones are doing this. Now, folks, let me reiterate about seat bones. This is what they look, the bottom of my hands are the seat bones in your pelvis. They're right flat in the saddle. Okay, so now you turn your skeleton and you do this. On a broke horse, it's telling the hindquarter to move over. Get it? See me do that? Okay, you keep them centered. When you walk the rear end around the front end, they still have to stay centered, equal pressure, but you're leaning forward. So now they roll in the seat of the saddle, just like that. So now you side pass that way, and this one drops. This one comes off. You with me? Horse moves away from pressure. That's why the seat bones are so important. Now, you sit like a reiner, like this. And of course, if you want to be a real rein, you hold your arm out like it's broken. Now, you sit up in the saddle and get as high as your seat bones can get, and now they're almost pointed to direct the saddle. If you do what we call ride with a flat ass, you sit like this and ride, your seat bones can't even communicate. Zero. Nothing, because you're sitting on your pockets. So that's why I'm so adamant about the seat bones. Sally Swift was an amazing woman. If you ever get a chance to read her book, it's worth it. Very nice. Okay, test number 1. Now, you notice the difference. It's because of your posture, it's not equal. It's that simple.
Yep.
Now, himself came a long ways, and all I'm doing is giving these little coin advice, and when he puts those in, he's got it. It's all here. I did not train this horse, but I know that this horse doesn't yield because of the angle of his body. It's not clear to the horse. That's one thing you need to fix. Did you see me back around this one? It's beautiful.
My understanding is that the ideal position is your hand in line with the mane when you're doing that exercise.
Well, ideal, the word ideal, here to wit, therefore of, in due diligence, is this.
Okay.
My horn's bigger, so I got room. He's got a little top on his, so he's going to have to ride better than I do. This is the optimum thing. Hand doesn't move. If you glue that to there,
To get to that position in the lead up to that, are you allowed to move your hand to go with the horse?
not with a Bramall rein, you use your leg. That's the crust of what I'm trying to teach you. You don't fix it with this.
Yes.
Texan's neck rein. Okay, that's a whole nother chapter.
You will have done your homework either in the snaffle or the basalt.
Yeah,
Right?
it's all done. So now when you go to the logs, remember I kept saying, hand don't move, feet don't stop, can't touch a log. That's how you find out what level you're at with your horse. Now the stop I'm going to come back to. Would you roll those out enough for me to get a horse through them, please? Thank you. Now the biggest gap when you do these logs at home is always towards the gate, because the horse gets to the gap and they think they get to go home. Don't cheat, make it the smallest gap. Now come here a second. I'm gonna show you verbatim what this is about. All right, here's me saying excuse me.
Yep.
When I ask, that's the hip that's stuck. It's the right hind leg, because you're always in this position.
Right.
So the horse doesn't know what it means. That's my point.
Yep.
So I can do this, no problem. I can't do this as easy. Now he's getting it because I'm square. Now, I've talked about it a lot, but I really want you to understand about a horse's ears. Now, watch this left ear on this horse. Just keep watching it.
No, it's listening.
Huh?
It's got it slightly turned you on.
Well, if I let the horse go, guess where he's going to go? Oh, hello.
Hi.
That's the left ear. So half of the brain is always wondering where his partner is. I could park there and he'd be fine for the rest of his life. But when they do come back, they're listening. If they're pinned, you're going to die. See, because of this all the time, now I have to help. Left leg back, right leg on, and left foot. I have to use both legs to teach the horse to turn. That's your hole in your program right there. So now my left leg is going to go back, my right leg is going to go on, and I can move the forehand. Now my leg goes way back, and the horse got it. I'm over-exaggerating. Moving my back, horse got it, step back, step over, had to step forward, doesn't matter. Now, for those of you that really enjoy this, always pretend the pole is longer than it is. If there's a trick or a secret, that's it, because it gets you far enough over on a big gap to know you're going to make it to the next pole. So I'll keep side passing before I cue. Now, front end, rear end, there's my pole. That's why I want you to know that. Now, lean, seat bones are flat, left leg back, open my left shoulder, horse comes across, almost hit it. Right shoulder overextended to let him know. So, we've got the stop, which I'm going to do now, and the torso. I'm done talking about that. You got it. More incentive to stop. Broke horse, doesn't matter. This type of stop that I'm teaching you, if this works for you, that's the way you want to set it up. I would betray him if I ran right straight towards your other horse and asked him to stop, because I only got half the brain. You with me? So when you're leaving camp, you can work on that slide. Coming home, don't even think of it. That felt good. Now, I want you to stay right there, because no matter what you see down there, it only works if you feel what I did. Now, you guys don't understand. If you weren't here yesterday, he's pulling the rein through the hand. The hand stays on the neck. That's how we're doing this on this horse. Hold the end of that. That's the mouth of the horse. When I actually pulled, that was it.
Okay.
That was it. Remember that.
Okay.
Less is more. I didn't need to do any more.
Yep.
First time, you know what it was. You did it yesterday.
Yep.
Okay.
So now just sit.
Now, hate to be redundant, but too bad. Remember I told you about the 3 sizes of a human? This is the humble side just now. Horse made it. Inside, you're like, oh my God, what am I sitting on? Get it? This is an amazing deal I got going here. And that's why we keep doing this. This is why we have fun riding horses. You don't dread to go do it. Now, for those of you that are into bridle horses, this is relevant. If you're not into bridle horses, this is relevant. Take the curb strap off. The curb strap, as I showed you yesterday, is a lever. You can lift a rock with a bit. With no curb strap, there is no lever. So if the horse will bridle up and yield without a curb strap and do what I need to do, he's ready for a spade bit. It's called a sapo, means frog. It's just a mouthpiece that has a roller in it, a cricket.
Right.
And it's a medium port, we'll call it.
Okay.
A true half-breed is a straight bar all the way across with a high mouthpiece of the cricket in it.
Yes.
A half-breed is straight all the way. There's no gap in it. There's no break in it.
Yes.
All right, now I'm going to say excuse me and do the logs. Now this is for a lateral test. See I'm losing it there? See the angle a bit?
Yep.
It's all right. Okay, the horse is not there. Okay. If I were you, I would get the spade ordered because by the time you're gonna transition.
Yep.
You'll hang him at the house. No reins, no curb strap, no chains, no riding. Spade just hangs with a hay string in the horse's mouth. It will bridle itself up with that spoon.
Okay.
Okay? And also, when you straighten your body out and we go through this lead change thing, it's all going to work out timing-wise. Get it?
Yep.
So you're ready to get ready for a spade bit.
Okay.
Now, what two-piece do you recommend for that? And what angle? Santa Barbara or
Well, the angle is going to have to be, you know when you hold a bit up sideways and you look through it? You got to be able to put a pencil through there. That's the angle you need on the spoon. Okay. This horse, just like that one, I would get a Santa Barbara cheek. It's going to take it. Because when you've ridden a bit already, the horse is desensitized to that cheek. Now you're going to be able to swing it back faster. There's no rebound on this cheek piece, the Nevada cheek.
Yep.
But the way you've went about this, that's fine. Now you're going to feel this big release swinging back, and it'll take your breath away. Okay? That's the test. Now, in the spade, this is how you do the logs. Period. No forward walk, no nothing. They do them correct.
Yep.
That's your test for the spade.
God, yeah.
I've got one, I think, person out of all the people I work with that when she does those, I tell her, hang it on your finger. When you have a colt, see the progression of this actually, at this horse's age, theoretically it should be in a spade bit and done. But it's not. This is very common. It just isn't done. The reason we ride Hackamores and take a colt from the beginning to the spade bit is that for the first 3 years we're riding them, their teeth are still coming in. So we don't have a bit in their mouth. Because teething, if any of you had children, you can kind of relate to that. So they'll be spitting the caps off at 3 and finishing up at 4, and then by the time the bridle tooth, we call it, comes in, I think you call it a canine tooth, that's the old way of knowing that they're ready for a bit because all the teeth are there. So to test a Hackamore horse, I'm going to do it on this side first. When you reach down and pick up the rein and squeeze the rein, the horse should turn its head to you, not pull. Right there. Okay. Now I'm going to do as much as it takes. But you see what happened? And I know she's done a good job on this horse. Now, here it comes. Now, for those of you that can see this, the skull is turned this way and the jawbone is pointing towards me. That is not what you want. You want the jawbone to fold into the skull. The way the orbit of all this works up here, it's amazing how many ways a horse can turn their head. So what I'm watching is for this to go that way. Here it comes. Now, like 9 out of 10 Hackamore horses and riding horses, the left side is the duller side because it gets used more. That's just a given. Here it comes. Now, the horse thinks it's going to back up. So what I'm doing is just critiquing her horse. There's the skull. The entire neck is bending. And the jaw should have disappeared by now. And all of these things are just, I'm doing a flight check on a plane. That's all I'm doing. We've already talked about this, but my head stalls don't allow this. My head stalls are back here. That's on purpose. Brow band, throat latch. The reason for that is because when you're riding, the Hackamore can't do this. He gets off balanced after a lot of pulling. That's why I made what I made. And this was shown to be by an old vaquero. This was not something I thought of. The other reason is, in the cowboy world, if you're a smart aleck and you think you're kind of a pretty good hand, and you're showing off, a cowboy will just ride by and hook that with his fingers and take it off and hand it to you. And then say, see ya. And they will leave the country because the other guys are whipping it. It's called frontier justice. So you don't get cocky. Huh?
Just hang on top.
Well, you never see them again. You just never know what really happened. But on the ground, on a Hackamore horse, that's the flight check. Okay, now the backup. There's called the drop. See this round part of the bosal in the back? When you let go of it, it drops down. You don't want the drop to be more than an inch from the contact point to the bottom of the drop. That's why a lot of people get the old day Hackamores and they're so damn long and there's 5 wraps on here. That's old school. That's the Model T. So now I'm going to pick it up and drop it. That's acceptable. Okay? The nose band on this particular horse, I'm working with you. Because when you pull it, it does move. And a lot of guys are real big on the rolling of the nose band. And I have never felt that connection. That's just not part of my story. What I'm curious about is when it has to have room to drop or you can't give a release. So now I'm going to ask for the backup. Now you see that beautiful headset? That's why you know you can make a bridle horse, because of the diameter of this right here. It'd take you 2 tape measures to get around the throat latch of that horse. This horse has got a small, definite throat latch, so it's going to be able to bridle up. In the trivia world, when I'm riding a Hackamore horse, I ride to where I'm going to get off, and then I get off. I try my best to never lead a Hackamore horse. Same thing. I don't want to pull the Hackamore the opposite direction it's designed for. You see some guy dragging one along, it'll pop right off the lip, and they're standing there holding it in their hand. So you make sure and go where you want to be. If not, you can tie the reins, you can tie this up so that you're pulling off of here instead of the bosal. As you can tell, I'm a little more particular about this than any other bit you've heard me talking about. Well, the reason is because it is in fact an art form, as far as I'm concerned. Now bear in mind, I did it on the ground because I'm doing the flight check. As soon as you throw your leg over a horse, the whole world changes. It's a whole completely different story, because now you in fact are sitting up here. I would betray myself and my horse if I walked backwards. So I go for a ride around the curl and a loose rein. Another reason I do this is I can feel all 4 corners and come back and say, you got a gimpy horse. The farther you get away from the group, the more stride changes on a horse. Now I'm going to start actually riding. This is how I ride a Hackamore horse. I never do this unless I've got a whole lot of Puckett in my hand. Somebody I was talking to yesterday, I kept telling you to quit putting your hands so wide. This is how you actually ride a horse. This is the space. You don't ride like this when they've gone this far. There's no colts in this clinic. A colt, I will almost fall off to help lead him around. Now, something else I don't do is that. You'll see it a lot where it's in the belt and over here. And what it means is when you actually do get dumped, it hesitates just long enough to break a femur when you're going off. And I've also seen in the heat of battle somebody dally on top of a Puckett. That is suicide and will break your entire back and betray your horse. So you either tie it off or run it all the way through your belt and back down that far. What?
Or make a shorter McCarty.
Imagine that.
Not all horses.
Seeing as how you can make them. Okay, this is what we got into yesterday, is the collection plus the stop instead of just the stop. Okay, it's all here. It's here. You got it. Now, here's what I was talking about. I'm having a conversation. Good. So now at home when I'm schooling, this is the gait I would be in. And I would get all the stuff done I've done, but not at a walk. And that's going to help you cross that bridge into self-carriage. Bump. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm not bumping with both hands. It's a very short move, but it's left, right, left, right. Now I've got the horse where I want it. It's too fast for the horse's brain. Now I've got it prepared to stop, cleaner. That's where your hole was. You weren't putting collection into your stop. You've got that down. I want to slow it down a little bit more. I'm doing it with my spine. That's what I wanted to get done with your horse today. Are you with me on this? We were not putting the two together. Okay. Now, my suggestion is that from now on when you're schooling, it's a slower jog than what I did. Don't walk, don't trot. Just get that slow one, and when you can do all this stuff. Now this, of course, is too tight. But another one for you on this horse is, where's Leon? He quit me? Okay. Well, just roll those out another 4 feet, all the poles, please. Now, has anybody got any questions? Okay, the reason why herself goes to all these hours and all this trouble is because if you compare this with your horse, that's why you go to all this trouble. If you want to ride Western, now she can test herself by doing this. Riding with an open hand, okay? That's good. I think that's it. Now these logs I've already told you about, you can make your arena. And this horse, the way it's long, it's longer than Sunday. It's got a need to get gathered up more, so you would lope inside of the dressage corral, get it? Not in a fenced arena. Oh, by the way, in collection. Now this is being true to yourself. If you're like us, you got to ride everybody's horse but your own to make a living. So 3 years from now, when you finally get to your own, before it's old enough to vote, you'll get this going. Because the walking schooling thing is over for this horse. Now, I'm going to do a downward transition without my hands. Okay, come here please. It's very important that you know this. Now folks, I showed a couple of you yesterday, but you ride your horse from right there. That's where you ride a horse from. Now use your two feet, you know where the spine is, well put your fingers on the muscles on either side of the spine and just push. Now push. Now this is me jogging. This is me transitioning to a walk. Mm-hmm. This is me stopping. Mm-hmm. That's what you've got to get going.
Yep.
Now, everybody knows where the optic nerve is, right? If you're sensitive, you sit on a chair in the kitchen, both feet on the ground, and you hold your skull completely straight and move your eyes backwards and forward, left and right. If you feel the optic nerve in the back of your skull, you're sensitive. Mm-hmm. Just thought I'd share that with you. All right. So this is upward and downward transitions, raising the bar in this circle. Because now you can't get a bigger circle. Yeah. You don't get an egg. You get a round. All these holes are sin holes. I have to do everything I can to get this horse, my inside leg, outside leg, everything has to work. Looking to the center, it's a little too fast. No, I didn't want to walk. See, this horse needs to listen to my sign. You can do it with your muscles and your breathing. Now I'm going to breathe the horse into a walk, staying up. Okay? Now once again, she has done all of this work, not me. All I'm doing is putting in the piece of the puzzle. You've got a phenomenal horse. And what you've done is been too hard on yourself and gone for perfection. There is no perfection. Get it? Don't do it. This is where you'll school on the sound. Now you'll build up to a canter with a canter departure. And oh, by the way, if you have hell with leads, this is probably where you get it done. So a canter departure from a trot, and then the way that you ride, you'll be able to do a canter departure from a standstill because of what you've done. She has the highest level of collection in the corral. The highest level. Now, that figure 8. Can't lose the gait. Here's your turnaround. Too bad. This can happen in here, horse. Bingo. You have done a very good job. Now, just so everybody knows, you can take the rest of the day off, go to lunch. I'll be here this evening. Goodbye. This is the closest to Spanish riding there is. Need to slow it down. There, see it? Just, there's that your quest. It's between that and the walk. And that's how much you release the muscles in your back.
And you'll get more animation.
Now what Deb's talking about is that it's the other direction. The higher I can get on the horse in collection, the more animation I'm going to get from the horse. Don't stop. You're fine. Stay with it, horse. You can do it. So now we're doing gymnastics. As I come towards around for you guys, I'm going to stop the horse. See my body? I over-exaggerated. That's how you stop a horse. Now, what else can I do for you?
No,
I wish I brought one. Same thing. You need to start hanging them in a spade under the tree and looking out the window and watch them. The reason I say this, you guys, is you hang the horse, and I don't mean hang. It stands under a tree. We call it bar breaking. Because that's what they do. They stand out in front of the bar. All right. You look out the window and watch the horse. You will literally watch the horse bridle themselves up in self-carriage without you being near them. That's how I get them to bridle up.
Santa Barbara or Las Cruces?
No, Santa Barbara. A Las Cruces is a straight. See, that's not even straight. A Las Cruces is totally straight. It's for an Iberian Andalusian type horse. The Santa Barbara was a phenomenal design. It had just enough weight in the wheel to put it back where it belongs.
Jump off.
What about anything else, my dear?
No, that's been my problem, is just slowing him down.
Yeah.
When he gets going, he wants to motor.
Well, I mean, he's got to look at the way he's made. Well, too bad. He's going to need this. This is the disciplined ride.
That's perfect.